Mikel, a dramatic end to what was a breathless game. What's your initial thoughts on the result and your team's performance?
I think the game had different moments. I think we started pretty well. I think we were dominant. We didn't concede anything, and we had the feeling that we're coming more of a threat. We scored a really good goal. And after that is the moment of the game when Ben is in front of Neuer, and we put the 2-0 down. That would have been a very different match straight after that. The ball is open, we want to manage the ball, and we give it to the opponent, and they score. And that created some uncertainty. And the second goal as well is unusual for us to concede. But this is the Champions League. You make a mistake, you get punished. A lot of the simple things with the ball, especially today, I think we haven't done it with the standards that we normally do, and that have allowed them to have spaces to run, and they are very dangerous. But even with the 2-1, I think the team tried to find the rhythm. He was composed. He didn't start to rush things, and the changes make a big impact to score the second goal.
We saw what you thought in the final stages of the game of Bukayo Saka's penalty shout. What did the officials say to you?
Nothing. I didn't say anything. They said that they checked it, and they decided it wasn't a penalty.
When you talk about the mistakes that were made in the first half that led to both of Bayern Munich's goals, does that just show you that you need to be near enough perfect if you're going to get past this team?
In Champions League, you give something, they take it. That's the quality. You look at the players that they have, the experience that they have, you're going to get punished. And we knew that, but that's part of football as well.
Yeah. What do you need to change then going into the next game? What have you learnt from this fixture?
Well, don't give them anything. That's to start with. You know, you're going to make life much more difficult. And then the thing is that we control a lot of simple things, do them better, and especially have a big belief that we can go there and win the game.
Focusing on the positives, when you need a big player to step up, Bukayo Saka did that for you early on. A special goal from him. Absolutely.
And the subs as well. The action of Gabi, I think, is tremendous. And the composure again from Leo to put the ball in the back of the net.
Well, Leandro Trossard has scored more goals as a substitute than any other player in the top 5 leagues in Europe. He is a difference maker for you, isn't he?
Absolutely, and the impact of the finisher is critical. And today we need them, and they produced a great moment to keep us alive.
So where are the belief levels now then, Mikel, that you can go to Munich and that you can get the job done and make it through?
I have a lot of belief that we can go there and beat them, and we have to prepare really well.
Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you. OK, there you go. Mikel Arteta saying that the moment with Manuel Neuer and Ben White one-on-one was the moment of the match. Do you agree with him, Rio?
It was a big moment, but again, he's not one of the first names you'd be picking up to go into that position and get there for you at this stage of the game. You'd probably want an Odegaard, a Saka type player. And he looked like a fullback in that position. But we've seen him score as well in recent weeks. But it's just at the time you want it to fall to somebody else. This is unfortunate. But this is the way these games go. There's ups and downs, and there's decisions that go for or against you, and you've got to deal with that. But what I would say is that there's enough on show here today for Arsenal to still go into that next game with belief.
That moment there, I understand why he calls it the moment of the match, because it was 16 minutes in, it was at 1-0, so it could have been 2-0. He would have felt in a much more commanding position. But how should he feel overall about this tie and it being a draw heading to Germany next?
I think you've seen the learning experience that you go through. You know, just going back to the goal there, I just think, you know, he needs to be a little bit more composed. And he probably, when he looks back on it, that's what we will see in the future. Jesus coming off the pitch, that experience of the Champions League. This is a competition that you have to kind of learn the hard way. But Arsenal are quick learners. So I think we go into this second game now. I think nothing lost. I think actually this could turn around, because at any moment we can hurt them. We've seen that. I just interested to see if Gnabry is going to be available. Sane going off. As good as Tuchel is as a manager, Sane going off was a massive relief for Arsenal. And let's see what happens in that second leg, because if he's not available, the pace they had in the wide positions was really hurting Arsenal, particularly on the counter-attack. And that's probably Arsenal are just a little bit naive. And what he said, you've got to minimise your mistakes. You cannot give that ball away, because, look, they'll go and hurt you and do what they did.
But the mistakes that they made today, or the way that Bayern Munich opened them up, they were uncharacteristic from Arsenal. This isn't the Arsenal that we've seen this season, who are top of the league in the Premier League. They've not been forced to play like this. They've not been exposed or opened up and given away opportunities. They've been a really tight unit to play against and hard to play against. Today, at times, Bayern Munich sliced through them at will at times, and that was something that I feel would be alarming, but something I feel that they've got to really nip in the bud.
I just think Raya as well, where he suddenly stood next to the centre half, isn't he? He's come running out, and Gabriel's like, okay, probably should have just gone back to him. There was absolutely no problem at all, but all of a sudden it creates a little bit of panic. You can see Bayern capitalise on that, and they can see that inexperience, and then we're suffering, and then the team isn't able to adjust, hasn't conceded a goal for over a month, and then there's two in the back of the net. So I think they kind of come back from that. Well, Rio, they come back from that very well tonight, didn't they?
But what they found today, which you do see in this Champions League, which is very different to the Premier League, little mistakes get punished. It is such that the margins are so small. The manager said it, Mikel Arteta, in there, that you give them something, they take it. It's so true. So you have to minimise mistakes at this level, otherwise you won't go anywhere.